Today we're looking at some influencers who got exposed. This video's only just started and I'm already in a bad mood, basically because I burnt my tongue in stew. So my tongue is currently in pain and now I have to watch videos of entitled influencers. I'm really not having a good day, am I? An influencer was given a harsh dose of reality when Melbourne restaurant Patsy's bluntly refused to collaborate with her. She then tried to shame the owners, but it backfired. You don't seem to have any followers, maybe you should approach us when you have over 100,000. Sorry, but that is extremely rude. Perhaps, but you're pretending to be influential on social media and that's just not true. And rather than me just saying that, you're lying and pretending to be beneficial to our business. I just said come back when you're actually able to do what you think we should engage you to do. Is it rude to question something that is obviously not true? So I'm gonna guess that influencer basically reached out and said, look, I want a free meal in exchange for exposure. There's no issue with asking that. However, don't expect to get a yes. I guess collaborate now means give me free stuff while I do nothing for you. I guess the mafia used to collaborate with shop owners for protection money. The issue isn't the fact that she wants to work with them. The issue is that she feels like she's entitled to work with them and that they should do it. Also, whenever it comes to collaborations, I always say this to small businesses, make the influencer sign a contract. A lot of influencers out there will say, oh, I'll promote your work if you send me free stuff, etc. You then send them stuff and they'll never end up posting it. And you can't really sue them because they didn't actually sign a contract, so they're not obliged to do it. But yeah, to me that just seemed like she wanted a free meal. Oh my god, the way she talks with her hands is so annoying. TikTok influencers are a different breed for sure. I mean, I disagree with that. I think there's a lot of amazing TikTokers out there. Like, there's a very loud and small minority that ruin it for everyone. It's kind of like anything, you know, if you take something good, there's always going to be bad people in it. However, she did not make herself look good in them messages. Influencer who was exposed for abusing her son makes this response. Okay, so this was actually a YouTuber. Basically, they were trying to film a thumbnail for the YouTube video, but she accidentally left it in the video. The son is crying because he's upset. I think the dog died or something like that. And she keeps saying, you know, like, make yourself cry more, you know, pull this face, pull that face. And it just was atrocious.
Is learn and grow and make amazing decisions in the future for myself and the well-being of Christian. So that is why my DMs are off for today.
Also, I want to say, and I don't want to come on here crying or act like I want sympathy or anything. I don't want any of that.
Don't do it then.
I'm so disappointed in myself, and I have never been this upset with myself or disappointed or had this much anxiety over people messaging me death threats and things about Christian that are so past the level of cyberbullying and harassment than I've ever experienced in my life. I'm taking the day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever, off social media to prioritize myself and Christian. I fucked up so bad and I'm so upset with myself, and I am being as hard as possible on myself and dealing with this in private, and that is why my comments are off for the extreme bullying and harassment and me being worried at this current moment for my and Christian's safety. So that's why the comments are off. If you want to see my longer explanation on the podcast.
I find it interesting how she made that all about herself and not about the fact that she was making her son cry for a YouTube thumbnail. And yet again, you know, whenever it comes to social media, you do get abuse on social media. If you can't deal with it, don't look at your comments, limit them. Don't go on your phone, it's not that difficult. Some of the best advice I've ever gotten was, if you're in a hole, stop digging. She needs to take that advice because she was not doing herself any favors. That was one of them situations where you try to explain yourself and you end up digging yourself into a big hole. You've basically buried yourself alive, and that's exactly what she done to herself. Is this the cry, look at the camera now, look at me, move your hand, let me see your mouth, lady? Yeah, so basically the kid's dog died and he was really upset and she decided to like film him to make a thumbnail. But she accidentally left that part in the video and then it got posted on social media and went viral. But anyway, that mistake exposed her true colors and now she's crying about it. I guess that's a new thumbnail she could use. Am I the a-hole for making a TikTok that somewhat exposed my influencer parents? I 16 male and banished to my aunt's house right now, and while she agrees with me that I'm not an a-hole for having these feelings, she says she agrees with my parents that I was an a-hole for the TikTok I made about our real lives. Okay, so this is a child of influencer parents. Whenever I see influencer families online, I always want to know how the kids feel, and I think we're gonna get some truth in this. Without saying too much, my parents had me while they were in college, and I lived with my grandparents until they graduated and got married. I have 3 younger siblings, and we all live in a large city together. My dad has a real job, and my mum basically just writes a blog and a social media account. She never mentions me. I'm never in pictures. My siblings are because they were written about from the time my mum was pregnant with them to after they got married. She writes a lot about her lifestyle and brags about how thrifty she is and simple, but she doesn't tell people that my grandparents give us money and she blows it in really expensive things like buckets and sweaters. This kind of reminds me of one of them TikToks I seen a while ago where a guy was basically talking about how he was able to buy a house at the age of like 25 and how he worked for like loads and loads of years. However, he left out the part that he was still living at home, so he didn't have to pay any rent, any bills, etc. And I feel like this is going to be one of them situations basically where someone makes themselves out to be something that they're not. You know, she talks about how she's a massive massive thrifter, but also doesn't mention the fact that her grandparents basically fund her lifestyle. Trust me when I say that none of what you see online about my family is true except for where we live and our names. Anyways, I vented a little bit to my friend about how my parents go back and forth and pretended to be her, but they're not, and then back again, depending on who they talk to. I feel like a lot of influencers struggle like that, like they kind of want to be relatable, but they can't be relatable. Any big influencer out there who's kind of known for being relatable but has lots of money and lots of followers is just faking it. Like if their whole brand is being like a relatable person, it's fake, like you're falling for their tricks. And I said that sometimes that meant that my mum buys something expensive and stupid to brag about, but then I have to hear about eating less or being more simple, about birthday wish lists because life is too expensive. Too expensive for who? Like your lifestyle is literally funded by your grandparents. And yet again, like I can understand spending money on like sweaters and clothes, buckets. Did we all forget that? Did we all forget the fact that the son literally told us that his mum spends lots of money on buckets? What type of bucket? Is this a bucket for like going to the sand or like gardening? So we made a TikTok at my house. I pointed out stuff like, here's my mum's one sweater that costs $400 and that's why I got this for Christmas, and pointed to a kid's art set. I pointed out some stuff that she told me her reader said she was gifted that she actually bought too. Do you want to know something? That's actually quite interesting because I have heard, this is about beauty influencers by the way, what they'll do is that they'll use a specific product, lie about it and say that it's a much more expensive product in hopes of getting put onto that company's PR list. A lot of these people fake it until they make it. My TikTok didn't get much attention at all, but one of my friends showed it to her mum and her mum showed my mum. My parents are mad and say that doing stuff like this hurts the whole family because it could affect sponsorships and maybe book deals. And dad said I was an a-hole for doing the video. So am I? I think I have the right to say my truth, but maybe I should have kept it more private between me and my friends. By the way, they made me delete the account so no one else is gonna know. Thanks. Okay, are you an a-hole? No. Like put it this way, if your parents are faking it, you might as well expose them. I also feel like the parents have kind of got themselves into a cycle where they have to fake everything. You know, they can't actually be honest. And yet again, that takes me back to the whole like relatability thing. You cannot relate to people who have millions of followers and millions of pounds in the bank account, whether that's their lifestyle, etc. Now, there's probably a few things you can relate to, like on a human level. However, I hate it whenever I see relatable content creators and it's like nothing about you is relatable. If their whole content is about being relatable, it is fake, it is staged to look like that. And the whole point is so it means that they can make money out of you. You know, they make you feel like a friend and then they sell you a product, you buy that product and they get a massive commission. And I feel like that's what's going on with your parents. Not the a-hole, LMAO, you did great. With the way society is going, outing lying influencers is honestly such a public service. Also really curious about these expensive buckets. I want to know more about them expensive buckets. Like why is it a bucket? It's so specific, isn't it? Like is it a bucket for gardening, a bucket to take to the beach? I understand the $400 sweaters because you know some sweaters are very, very expensive, especially if they're a luxury brand. I feel like that's a whole niche that I know nothing about. I just want to say I'm sorry your life has been so bad and I hope you turn out to be awesome in spite of it. I don't know if you're the a-hole in this situation, but I do know you have every right to be. I mean, put it this way, people are gonna lie to a massive audience, they will eventually get exposed, whether that's from one of their followers that finds out they're being lied to or like a family member or friend. But I've always wanted to know how like an influencer child feels, a kid whose parents are influencers. Like I feel like in 10 years time we're gonna have a lot of interesting story times about like family channels, you know, the kids who were actually forced to film the YouTube videos. This Instagram account exposes influencers who lie about their true appearance. Oh wow, now that is a big difference. Okay, so this right here is what you call Facetune. Look, is that photo on the right the most flattering photo? No. However, that is a big difference. Like that is proper Facetune. I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't really know how to use Facetune. I like to edit my photos a little bit. Like if I look dusted and crusted, I will edit, trust me. There's no issue with that. However, I feel like the issue here is whenever you completely change your appearance. You wouldn't even know that that's the same person because they don't look the same. Okay, I'm gonna actually defend Kylie Jenner, I know, shocker. I feel like pictures like this aren't a good example. You've gotten Kylie Jenner on Instagram where she's glammed up and edited, and then you got a paparazzi picture where she doesn't know it's being taken and she's makeup free. I personally have always felt bad for Kylie Jenner just because I feel like she never had a choice whenever it came to fame. Her sister Kim was really, really big and she was on the family show. However, I kind of feel bad for her because I feel like she was pushed into the spotlight against her will. Now, on the flip side, she's definitely compensated off it. You know, she's posted these pictures on reality shows, created businesses. However, I kind of just feel bad for her. You know, she was very, very young when the show first started. And you know, she did fill her face up with a lot of filler like the age of 16. But you see pictures like this, I just don't think they're comparable. If you're gonna compare a real picture, you know, don't do one like that on the left compared to the right. Because to me, that's just not comparable. And here is the beautiful Kimberly Kardashian. Look, Kim is a beautiful woman, but you can definitely tell there's a big difference there. Something that I find very, very interesting as well is that that picture on the left is from like a product. I think it's got to do with her makeup. The way they've edited that picture is obviously, you know, they filtered it. They've made it look natural. That's a real thing like skincare products and like makeup people do. Have you ever seen makeup online and you're like, how did I make it look like that? It's because it doesn't actually. There's a thing called a natural edit, but there's nothing natural about it. What they will do is completely Photoshop your face and then they'll add like pores. So basically they'll make you look perfect and then add imperfections and make it look more realistic. Even though her face looks completely poreless on the left, you can definitely still see a bit of texture, like you can tell it's skin. I mean, that's what she looks like on the right. She looks beautiful. A lot of people like to trash her, but one thing she is very, very good at is, first of all, looking good, looking beautiful, and making money. So I will always give her the props for that.
Hey, babe. Okay, so rock, paper, scissors, shoe. And if you win, you get to kiss me. Are you ready?
Oh, no.
No, I'm good. We gotta go.
You're good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of with him. Like, imagine you're literally chilling in the store looking at video games and someone walks up and says, I want to kiss you. Like, no, kiss my ass. Nothing good can come from a stranger dressed like that approaching you with a hey babe. If someone approached you like that, what would you be thinking? Quite frankly, I would think she's a prostitute. Like, I know that's bad to say, but I would. I'd be thinking, you know, like, I've got no money on me, darling, leave me alone. I can't express to you how much I despise people like this. I'm so glad he shot her down immediately. For all we know, that video could be fake, it could be staged. Creators like that do pay people to act a certain way in their videos. It's kind of like whenever we watch the fake Karen videos or fake freakout videos. Did you know some of them are actors? For all we knew, that guy could have been paid to act like that.
Went there for work, like influencer type work, and it was borderline horrifying.
See, I've been telling y'all. So many of these LA influencers are weirdos. Obviously, not all of them. Hi, I'm Nessa. I've been doing social media for 10 plus years. My main platform is YouTube, but she a TikToker now. In the video I stitched, she mentioned how somebody told her that mental illness was for the weak. Y'all wanna know what the my ex-manager did to me? Him and all of his clients were going around telling people in the industry that I had schizophrenia and I was violent.
What?
Girl, violent where? Yeah, I got a big mouth, but like, nor do I have schizophrenia. And if that is something that you deal with, that's nothing to be ashamed about. For years, I wondered, why did that happen? Like, what did I actually do to that manager for him to hate me? And then I remember that night at Playlist. I remember that invite to the hotel room from my drunk manager and me not wanting to go.
Ooh.
Things got kind of weird after that.
Yeah.
Could that be it? I don't know if you guys have ever heard stories about people getting their follower count checked at the door. That is a real thing. There have been times I've gone to parties and they have asked me to show my Instagram. And of course, like, there were some people in my group that didn't have a ton of followers because I'm not only friends with influencers. And the guy at the door said, nah, y'all can't come in, but do you still want to come in?
That's shocking,
No.
really?
You would think everybody's like that, right? Like, I'm not going to leave my friends. Oh, I've seen it happen.
Yeah,
Oh, I'll see you
they
guys
ditch
later.
you.
Sorry, just get an Uber. It was genuinely super hard to make friends out there because so many people's morals are just non-existent. No, but like, why were so many of the like big beauty gurus that portray themselves as so nice online like the biggest
Remember
like,
the thing
talk
I
behind
told you
your
about
back,
people
might
trying to be
sleep with your man,
relatable?
don't care type. Then you go to their YouTube channel and they're just super sweet and so nice in their vlogs. It was actually very scary. A lot of you guys should pursue acting because the fact that you were just two completely different people, bravo. Because could have fooled me if I wouldn't have seen it with my own two eyes. Let me tell you about the time I almost got sued by someone. I went out to LA and I was going to collaborate with a big YouTuber that I was a huge fan of. So while I was there, she actually ghosted me. And in my vlog, I talked about how I was super disappointed that this person just completely like blew me off. And this person that I was a fan of told me that their dad was a lawyer and they threatened to sue me if I didn't take the video down immediately. And they were very aggressive about it.
Oh,
Bitch, the way I
God.
cried. I think I was like 18. There was a time when a bunch of my followers and another YouTuber's followers were telling us to collaborate with each other. So this influencer flew out to Arizona, because that's where I lived at the time, to link up with me. And then we were going to actually travel to LA together to film a bunch of content. Please keep in mind there was no flirting, like none of that going on. I completely went into this with like a business mindset, like this is a collaboration. All of our interactions we had online, as well as the ones we had in Arizona while they stayed at my apartment, were just completely friendly. And the next day we went to LA. This man offered to pay for the Airbnb. I was insisting on paying, like, I'm gonna PayPal you, I don't care. And they said, no, like, don't worry about it. I got it. They sent me the link to the place. It was this huge house in Studio City. When we got there, he only rented one room with one bed.
Ooh.
But in that bedroom, there was also like a really long couch. So I'm thinking, oh, he's probably gonna give me the bed. He's gonna sleep on the couch.
No.
When it came to going to sleep, the friendliness went out the window. This man told me if I didn't get in the bed and sleep with him, next to him, under the covers with him, I wasn't getting no blankets or sheets or pillows that night.
Oh, no.
At first, I thought he was joking, like, oh, ha,
No,
ha,
he's
ha,
being
like,
serious.
give him to me. No, he was dead ass. Like, with a straight face, he told me, get in the bed or you're not getting sheets. This man starts yelling at me, so of course I run outside and I'm crying in the backyard. I ended up leaving the next morning, of course, and I never talked to him again. And this guy is still very popular in the basketball community on YouTube. I still cannot believe that happened, like the way he yelled at me and screamed at me to get in the bed. That experience definitely scared me away from collaborating with male YouTubers. I have a ton more stories. Y'all want more?
I don't know about you guys, but I certainly do. And something that I find very, very interesting is about like that club thing where you have to have a certain amount of followers to get into a club. I've also heard about that because I do have a best friend who's been to America quite a few times. I think it's got to do with a social thing where basically famous people only want to hang out with other famous people. It sort of does sound like a cult, doesn't it? What was the average follower count for the bouncers? Like, did it have to be more than 500k? I'm not sure exactly on numbers, but I think if you have over 100k, you're allowed in. And if you've got like 5,000 followers, basically you can't get in because you're not like them. And also, like, a lot of them types of clubs are kind of like prostitute places. You know, if you have a lot of followers, I wouldn't recommend going into them. Well, that's what my friend told me. So women attending these hill parties, I was just asked at the door typically, but most of the time not. Industry is definitely brutal. I mean, yeah, it does sound brutal, you know, managers trying to sleep with their clients, people collaborating and sleeping in the same bed and then getting kicked out. It doesn't seem like a fun industry to me. And then I feel like with LA, a lot of influencers always talk about like, oh, LA is fake, it's horrible. Personally, I don't agree with that. I think the reason they think that is because I hang out with horrible people. Put it this way, if you go on holiday somewhere with horrible people, you're probably gonna have a horrible trip. But if you go on holiday with nice people, you'll probably have an amazing trip. LA is a lovely place. There's good bits to it and bad bits. And I feel like that whole influencer and celebrity scene is one of the bad bits. That happened a while ago in New York, basically, where there was like a big sandstorm or like a cloud or something like that, and it turned the whole of New York yellow, and that woman's turned it into like an aesthetic thing. My dad is out there risking his life fighting the fires, and this is what they're doing. Exactly, like the whole of New York was literally under smoke, and she's taking like aesthetic video. I feel like she would definitely post like an audio to that saying like, oh my god, my life is so crazy. It's so tone deaf. These influencers posting in the streets like it's some sort of aesthetic. That is exactly what it's like to them. Like, they don't care. That girl does not care about the fact that like New York is basically under smoke. She just views it as, oh my god, look at New York, like it's so yellow, this is so beautiful. And in the meantime, people literally can't breathe.
Does anybody have a job? Does anyone work? I swear to god, this Be Real, like I like get myself all the time, even though I'm the most productive person ever. Like, I'm always doing something. I'm never in bed in the middle of the day. And then I got Be Real, and this Be Real could go off at 11 a.m, 1 p.m, 3, it doesn't matter. Everyone's in bed. There's an alarming amount of people every time that Be Real goes off that are just in bed with the shades drawn. And it makes me feel so good about myself. I'm like, why are you in bed? Seems like nobody wants to work these days. Get your ass up and work. No, like, for real though, like, it's great. Like, get out of bed.
I feel like the reason a lot of people in your Be Real are always in bed is because they're influencers. Like, they don't work a lot. I used to work 6 to 7, 12 hours. My ass is laying in bed when I get the chance. Exactly, like, I've been there and done it. You know, whenever you come home from a 10-hour shift and you just crawl into bed, like, you genuinely feel like Yoda and Dobby. Like, you feel like an old man. Some people have days off. I mean, a lot of these influencers have a day off 24/7. You know, they wake up, do a little bit of work on their computer, and then get into bed. Like, I'm gonna guess the people in her Be Real aren't like normal people with real jobs. I'm gonna guess that they're all in the same industry as her.
The heating is currently broken in my house, so I'm heading down to London. I'm checking into the Savoy, and I'm going to make full use of their wonderful hot water. So I'm going to start the outfit off with my Black Watch Serafina London dress. For my boots, I'm going to wear my Louboutin Cape boots. For my fragrance, I'm wearing High Grove Bouquet from Penhaligon's. For my coat, I'm going to wear my Italian wool maxi coat. My handbag today is my 25 Birkin Madame Cellier. I'm off to warm up. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Oh, she's doing it so... You know what? She is a trooper, mate. A lot of people are replying, handle just fell off my saucepan, booked a room at Buckingham Palace. Oh, my TV battery's just died, so I've flown to New York to watch the big screens, darling. Someone's written, I love you and your content, but my boiler is currently broken and I'm wearing 3 jumpers. Lydia's written back, we have been the same over the weekend because we gave the dogs the heater.
What?
Oh, wow.
She's not even, like, the penny hasn't dropped at all.
And, like, the heating in the UK is a huge problem.
And I'm so glad she told us about the fragrance she was wearing, because I could smell it through Instagram. It was perfect.
Okay, so if you don't know who that woman is, she's basically a luxury influencer. I actually watch her on YouTube. However, that video was so extremely tone deaf. Her content and spending isn't the issue. She's earned it, it's hers. The issue is that her solution to having no heating is to go to Savoy when we have families purposely switching off their heating because they can't avoid it. If she just said, I'm off to the Savoy Savoy, it wouldn't have been as bad. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's not the issue that she has money. Like, that is her content. The whole point of her content is luxury things, hence why her clothes cost a lot of money and she's going to the Savoy. The reason people had an issue with it was because she was like, my heating is broken, so I'm going to the Savoy. And I'm pretty sure that was at a time where a lot of people were struggling with heating bills. Like, it really was tone deaf. Leave Lydia alone. Like, there's rich people 100 times worse than y'all are coming for her. She was already planning to go to the Savoy and just wanted to. Okay, so I actually think that video of her in the Savoy was like a partnership, like a sponsorship, so she was paid for that. And I would say they'd be quite happy. Even though the video didn't come across well, it got them a lot of attention because a lot of people were talking about that video. But yet again, the issue isn't the fact that she's got money or she's going to an expensive hotel. It's the fact that it was posted at a very, very bad time and it was incredibly tone deaf.
So I am an influencer who 3 months ago decided to get a full-time job because I'm just not a fan of doing influencing full-time. It did not fill my cup up. That being said, I've seen so many things online recently of influencers being so goddamn out of touch, and from one influencer to another who has probably even maybe said some of these things, like, I'm not totally innocent, but now I just vow to never do it because I try to be self-aware.
Good.
But this is just a message to my fellow influencers of things you just, like, shouldn't say online because, like, you're really not sounding good. And I've seen a lot of it in the last couple weeks. Number one, the to-do list where you say you're so busy and it's just appointments.
Busy doing nothing, basically.
Just keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself, okay? You're really pissing people off. Don't do it. Like, people don't, like, that's someone's relaxing Sunday. Just keep it to yourself. You can feel how you want to feel. Your followers don't want to hear about it. I promise you, like, it's pissing them off. Number two, I saw this video of someone, like, being really upset because it's, like, they're not being paid enough as an influencer, which is crazy because as an influencer, that most of my money comes from what I do online, which I'm so thankful for, but, like, to say that you're not being paid enough as an influencer is crazy. Do brands come at you with crazy requests for, like, not enough money? 100%. But to post online that you should get 10 grand a video,
it is out of touch.
I've gotten great deals in my lifetime, and again, I'm so thankful for it, and that's literally amazing that there's this much money in the space. But to outright be like, my videos deserve to be 10 grand. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You can't, don't post that. People make TikToks for fun, okay? This is people's hobby. And you think you demand 10 grand a video? Don't post that. Keep it to yourself. Number three, it was this video of Dixie D'Amelio, which I actually really like the D'Amelio, so I'm really sorry. But this video, I'm just saying, PSA to my influencers, don't talk like this. Her saying how she just wants to marry rich so she doesn't have to work.
She is rich. She's a millionaire.
Babes is a multi-millionaire. Don't say you're so tired of working and you just want to marry rich. Like, you gotta be self-aware, y'all. Let me know. Do you want me to keep making these?
And it's always, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Technically, that is correct. However, the actual quality of 24 hours is different. If someone wakes up and does a 10-hour shift, that's 10 hours of their day gone. Technically, it is correct. And I know I have to roll my eyes by saying that, but it's also not correct. Because you do have 24 hours in a day. However, the actual time you have free at your fingertips is completely different. If you work a 10-hour shift, that is 10 hours of your day gone. You can't do anything in between that. You know, an influencer isn't having to do that. At the most, they will work 4 hours. And you know, whenever they make comments like, oh, we all have 24 hours. Yes, we do, but our time isn't the same. People actually have to work. I heard one girl explain her busy day was going to Pilates, replying to emails for an hour, opening PR packages, and a spray tan appointment. I also feel like a lot of influencers make themselves sound really, really busy because they know they don't do a lot. In the back of their mind, they know they make a lot of money without doing a lot of work, and they kind of feel a bit guilty for it. So that's why they always talk about, like, oh, I'm so busy, you know, I'm doing things that normal people do. However, normal people do that with a full-time job, and they usually do both of them in a day. And I think it kind of has to do with the fact that influencers know they don't do a lot of work, get a lot of money for it, but they want to feel like their days are a lot more fulfilled than what they are. No shade to anyone, but I feel like influencing should have a side hustle mindset. That's the way I'm with it. You know, I actually do work, funny enough. I know people don't think I do, but I do, and I work a lot. I do YouTube as like a hobby and kind of part-time, but then it's mainly a hobby. With social media, if you want to do it full-time, you have to treat it like a business. Don't aim for short-time success, aim for long-term success. You know, you can be making videos, spending hours every single day posting them, and have absolutely no success whatsoever. However, you have to have that motivation. That's why I always say, you know, do it part-time or treat it as a side hustle or hobby. Don't make it full-time, because you can do it full-time, you still won't get a lot of money. You should always have your main job and then do social media as like a side gig. Well, anyways, guys, just we're gonna leave that video there. That's some influencers who got exposed. If you want to see me look at more out of touch influencers, let me know, definitely will. Press the big subscribe button. See you all tomorrow for another video.